Welcome everybody, and today I'm going to be reviewing this scope. This is the Opticlar 8DS dermatoscope. For today I am just showing you the equipment. To learn how to use it in more detail and how to interpret what you see, please come along to one of our Dermoscopy for Absolute Beginners courses, which can be accessed through the PCDS website at pcds.org.uk. So this is the Opticlar 8DS dermatoscope. And the first thing I'm going to show you is this, which is the handle. Now, this scope will fit onto any Welsh Allen handle. This is the newest Opticlar handle that comes with it. And as you can see, the charging options in the base mean that you can either charge it from a base charger or you can charge it using the micro USB port here. As I say, it will fit onto an ordinary Welsh Allen handle, and you can buy the end piece, the head piece, separately, which can make this a much more cost-effective option. So once it's attached to the handle, like so, we can turn it off by turning the handle on and off. Now, this is exactly the same as any other twisty handle, so you can alter and adjust the light intensity, and I would normally have it turned fully on to its maximum brightness to use this one. When you turn it on, you will find that there are two different ways to switch it between polarized and non-polarized mode. So we can either use this blue button here, and this will switch it between modes. Or the other thing you can do is you can twist the end plate, which is a little bit stiff on this one. This will also switch it between modes. And the old style 4DS that just had 4 LEDs in it, that was the only way to switch modes for the early options, the early views of that. So that's how we switch mode between them. Now, how to focus it. In fact, for this one, we don't need to adjust the focus. Most of the time, you're going to be able to see perfectly well with it just straight onto the skin like that, using it as a fixed focus. The exception to that is if you are going to use it for non-contact polarized dermoscopy using a separate end plate. So let's have a look at the end plates, and I'm just going to turn it off as I show you. This end plate that I'm using here, the ordinary end plate, comes off quite nicely. It twists like that to come off. And this one has a graticule with a double, so it's got an X and Y axis on the graticule. Now, there are some alternative end plates you can get. You can get the one with the S on the side, and this one has a single graticule. So it just has one axis on the graticule. And then this one here is for the polarized non-contact dermoscopy. And the difference here is that with these two, you can see there's an end plate. With this one, there actually isn't an end plate on it. There is a separate filter inside. So when we attach this one, we can now turn it on and touch it against the skin. And this is only going to work in polarized mode. So if it's not in polarized mode, as at the moment, you'll just see lots of reflection from the skin. So you will have to switch it into polarized mode if it hasn't turned on in polarized mode in order to be able to see. And this is when you may need to focus, because if you're looking at a raised lesion, you may need to move the lenses, move the eyepiece up a little bit to be able to focus on the top of a raised lesion. The other advantage of using this particular end plate is that this is the one that you can use the disposable end pieces with, disposable covers. So this is the disposable cover. When they come, they are provided with a protective film on the outside, but also a protective film that also needs removing on the inside. So when you've removed both those protective films, you now have this perfectly clean disposable end plate, and this will just clip on nicely. There we go, that clips on nicely to this one, and you can use it in polarized or non-polarized mode with this cover, disposable cover, being used as the end plate. And the covers are very useful for mucosal and wet or bleeding lesions. So that's that. Now, just to demonstrate, when I have the one of the ordinary end plates on like this, the disposable cover does not fit onto these ones. So to use the disposable covers, you have to use them with the end plate that doesn't have, or with the end piece that doesn't have an end plate, and they will click onto it like that. One extra thing available separately for the Opticlar 8DS is this. This is the small contact end plate, and this can be attached in the same way as the others. Again, turn it on and you have this small contact area. You will need to use contact fluid because even when you change modes between it, you're not going to be able to see very well through it without the contact fluid. So you do need contact fluid for that. So that, putting this one back on, that is the Opticlar 8DS. Now, in order to take photos through it, you are going to need some kind of adapter, and you have several options. So this is the adapter which is designed for it, and if you buy this adapter, it comes with these two pieces which may be attached when you get it, like this. This metal ring here screws onto the eyepiece there. There we go. And we now have a metal ring so that you can take the universal adapter. You can put your phone in it, making sure that you attach the phone in the cradle below the on-off switch. Pop it in the cradle like that, tighten it up. Then you can adjust this arm so that it goes over the camera of your phone, and then you'll be able to attach it like that. Now, it's a bit fiddly, this camera attachment, and it's a little bit fiddly to take it out again, and that's because it's not completely flat. So we have this little bit here that sticks out into this bit here. So that is a bit of a fiddle, but having said that, it does take excellent photos. Your alternative option, if you don't want to get this bit, and I will remove that just to demonstrate the alternative. The alternative option that you have is to get one of these. And this is actually a universal adapter for a telescope. But you'll find that if you put your phone into it in exactly the same way as we did previously, so we just do it up in the cradle. This then has this part here, and you can put that like so, and tighten it up, and that will hold it in place. And then you can put it in the correct, line it up in the correct place here, and tighten up this little screw here. So now we have it attached through this. And you can still switch modes. And when I'm doing it this way, I tend to hold it all with my left hand. So I've got my right hand free to operate the phone. And then with my left hand, I can switch between modes like so. And I will just demonstrate that the other way up. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm holding it like this, and I can touch that there. So I'm supporting it like this. So that's another option for taking photos with the Opticlar 8DS. So there we go. The Opticlar base, if you come and find the scope and it's not charged, you can plug in your charger and it will work whilst it's plugged in, which is very handy, but it won't turn itself off because it's on the twisty handle. And so just the same as for the Welsh Allen handles, they won't turn themselves off. I like this one because it's very handy to switch between the ophthalmoscope and the otoscope and the dermatoscope heads. And the optics on this are very, very good. The polarization is excellent. You will see bright white lines very brightly, and it's fully focused right to the edges of this, right to the edges of the field. So as I said, today I'm just showing you the equipment, but to learn how to use it in more detail and how to interpret what you see, please do come along to one of our Dermoscopy for Absolute Beginners courses, and you can access these through the PCDS website at pcds.org.uk.